I'm going to kick us off, and then Tor is going to take us home. I'm going to talk a little bit about our future health, and Tor is going to speak about the work that LifeArc have been doing with us to develop, increase the discoverability of our data. So our future health is the name of the not-for-profit. It's also the name of the research program, and we're aspiring to recruit 5 million UK adults to our research platform for your research purposes. We really think this is going to catalyze etiologic and translational research. And the translational component really has two main strands. The first is that eventually we'll make blood samples available to you as researchers, so bespoke blood access. And the second is that all of our participants provide consent to be recontacted selectively based on the health-related information that they donate to the program to be invited to your studies and your clinical trials. So we have lots of partner organizations, and not only do they fund us, but they bring us a lot of expertise to help us co-design the program. And you can see LifeArc is amongst the organizations here on the left-hand side. And we also have a lot of affiliate charities that support us in many different ways, but don't fund us directly. Of course, LifeArc brings considerable expertise. We've seen that across all of the talks today, providing guidance on scientific and technical issues, helping us with challenges and opportunities, and most importantly of all, making sure that we design a program that is applicable to many research domains and many researchers that we have here today in the audience. So that 5 million target that we're trying to get to, all you have to be is an adult resident in the UK, and we're trying to reflect the whole of the UK population across the 4 devolved nations by age, sex, ethnicity, and deprivation. What do our participants donate to the program? They complete a half-hour questionnaire that gives us a really good retrospective on their health, information that you can't get from electronic medical records. They then attend a 15-minute appointment where they donate some anthropometrics and cardiac metrics and 2 6 ml EDTA vials of blood. We store that blood, but we also extract DNA, and we use a custom genotype array, the Our Future Health array, that is up to date and provides you lots of information for your research purposes. Our participants also provide broad permission for linkage with health-related data sets, and we are primarily, first of all, going after primary and secondary care, cancer and death, but you'll see that we've already gone beyond those data sets to date. And lastly, that key permission to be recontacted for a variety of purposes, including permission to be invited to additional studies and trials. So this is where we're at today. If you're not part of the 2.7 million people, come and join us as a participant, and then come and join us as a researcher. 1.6 million of those people have donated blood to us, and 1.5 have completed the questionnaire and donated blood. And you can see that's of the 2.1 million people that have completed the baseline questionnaire. What does this cohort look like? Well, if my next slide loads, then I'll be able to show you, but it's 57% female, but we're doing a great job on representing the age groups. 650,000 people below the age of 40, the largest young age cohort in the world with bloods. 10% are non-white, so representing minority ethnic groups fairly well, but we know we can do more. And more than 30% from the most 2 deprived quintiles of deprivation index. These are the data available for your research in our trusted research environment today, all secured with an airlock. Everything that is outputted as your results is manually read by a human. And you can see here that these data are large, but at the end of this month, the next drop will be even larger. So we have secondary care, we have dispensed medications now, we have clinical measurements, and I'll tell you what's coming next in a moment. So these are already providing for you rich research insights for health. Eventually, when we open for blood access, bespoke blood access, you'll be able to access those plasma and DNA samples. We're a trial accelerator, which I'm going to end with before handing over to my colleague Tor from LifeArc, and AI models. We're not just thinking we've got big data so we can do AI. We're thinking about rich metadata and AI readiness of our data to meet your research needs. So we're representing the UK population really well. It's not an overly diseased population, but there's a lot of prevalent disease in the population in which we live in. And that's represented here. So these are just the top level domains of disease that is captured here. And you can see that already there's a lot of people with a lot of conditions ready for your research, but we're also following people prospectively. And there's a lot of instant disease also already accruing since October 22 when we kicked off recruitment. I've already told you what's available now. You can see that on the left-hand side, also genetic imputation data. What's coming next? We already have applications in with Scotland and Wales, very close to hopefully attaining those approvals and those data. Primary care in the UK. And then even on here as well, we also did point-of-care cholesterol tests for the first 1.2 million people that will become available at the end of May. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue to hear from you what you need for your research and build that into our research program. So before handing over to Tor, I've just got a few slides on our clinical research recruitment service, which is a recruitment accelerator for your studies and trials. We opened this in January of this year, and if you're operating in this space or interested in how many people we have with diabetes under the age of 50 within a 15-mile radius of your 3 trial sites, then contact us. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But this will enable you to recruit faster and more efficient to your trials right now. So we know it's very difficult at the moment for some conditions to efficiently recruit. It's inefficient often, costly, and not optimally targeted. And we're going to change that for you. So you can find the right participants the first time. You can do recall by genotype, recall by phenotype, maybe even recall by integrated risk scores if that's what you wish to do. And just as a flow, we can do a feasibility request for you now, and we can provide that summation in 5 working days. You can then apply, and then we can invite people on your behalf to your study or trial. And just finishing with one example before handing over to Tor, you can see here we had a challenge. One study was struggling to reach their recruitment targets. Well, within 3 months, we'd sent 16,000 invitations. We'd had a 26% conversion rate from invitation to consent into the additional study. This was a third higher than our customer recruitment target expectations, and they already had almost 4,400 eligible participants in their study at the end. So please reach out to us. Reach out to my colleague, richard.coop@ourfuturehealth.org.uk. And with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Tor, to talk about how he's helping make our data even more discoverable. Thanks, Tor.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Michael has been speaking very fast. Normally he takes more time, but he had to catch us up. So I will have to improvise a little bit as well. If this was in German, I could probably make one long compound word to give the whole presentation. But I'll try English, I'll use more words. So essentially, we've partnered with Our Future Health. We're a founding charity member. We also have an in-house data science group headed by Andrew here. That means we could look at what we can do practically with Our Future Health data that's of use to translation and rare disease. So we did a thing. The thing is called CohorTS, and it's a study we've applied for with Our Future Health. And I'm going to go quickly through our approach and then a couple of takeaways. But very briefly, what it is, we have a tool. The tool is a cohort discovery and characterization tool. We're not doing full feasibility as Our Future Health are doing for you. What we're doing is viability. Is there anything in Our Future Health that is useful to even think about doing something with, like trial recruitment or running a study or running a survey on participants? That is what we want. Is there a purpose for us, for our rare disease in there? And that's because LifeArc works across a large range of rare disease. So we need that information in-house. This is not a service for anyone. This is for us and our partners. But if there's questions that someone needs a burning answer to, and like, is there enough people for rare disease X to do something with? We're happy to take requests without commitment. We'll look at it, we might prioritize, we might give information to you. We can give counts. We have a standardized assessment of what we do for every phenotype, every rare disease. We have statistical breakdowns by age, sex, follow-up time, and so on. What we don't have is complex or formal feasibility assessment. We leave that to Our Future Health. We don't do actual recruitment. We don't contact participants, and we don't deal with governance around recontacting. All that lovely complicated stuff is down to Michael and co. For that, you can go to Our Future Health, but also LifeArc is funding the Center for Accelerating Rare Disease Trials. They're also there for mapping individuals to existing trials. Right, why would we do that? Just briefly, LifeArc's focus is on rare disease and translation. For that, really, in the end, you need clinical trials. And if you want to do a clinical trial, you need a bit of planning. You need to know what there is. If you're working within a clinical trial network, you have the information probably already. But for charities, for others, the information isn't there. What could we be doing? So that's needed. And basically that means just find enough people, describe them consistently, and then judge whether a trial or study is realistic. And in our case, if we find a cohort in Our Future Health we know we have a resource to do actual recontacting through that we can facilitate. All that is reflected in our health data strategy, available online as of February this year. So have a look for yourself if you like. So the clicking here is not as fast as my talking. There you go. What have we actually done in technical practice with our health data science team? We have, number one, built a phenotype library that's just a collection of the diseases we are interested in LifeArc and that our partners are interested in, plus outcomes of interest to those rare diseases. Secondly, we have taken all of the Our Future Health data and compiled that into one large event table with time-stamped health events in a person's life. From that table, we can very quickly run queries that kind of, for disease X, we can ascertain cases and we can describe them in a standardized manner. When we have these description statistics, we can deliver a report at the end that's also quite standardized and at a safe level, so there's no per person information. It's really aggregated information on the cohort as a whole. What that looks like for us is this. We type in a phenotype of interest, and if it was in our phenotype library, you get information on that, including the medical codes that are relevant in finding those cases, just to double check that we've got everyone we want, information by sex, information for the length of follow-up they have. We also have some projections on how many cases there might be in a few years' time once our future health recruitment kicks in more. And the portal is really that strong to test. We are not doing anything unsafe in these days. We have to point it out very clearly. We are working within the trusted research environment to do our work. Our outputs, the aggregated statistics, they pass the statistical disclosure controls. There's also the human element in the access board from Our Future Health that passes things out of the airlock into human civilization or LifeArc. That is normally passed. And in the end, participant level information is not shared by us. It is summary information. What have we got? So by now we have run 1,200 standard cohort summaries. They're in our web portal. We can search for them right now. There's 191 rare diseases specifically covered by that. We reckon it will be more once Our Future Health have primary care data available to us, because that's where many diagnoses will live, other than the secondary data. Down below, I was just going to give everyone seconds to just read that for themselves, but given time, I'm just going to skim through that. So bronchiectasis, we have 16,000 cases. Interstitial lung disease, 3,500. We have found for a particular science project 400 adult survivors of childhood cancer who had their cancer diagnosis between the ages of 0 and 14 years old. We have 200 individuals with motor neuron disease and 200 with vascular dementia. And we have many more numbers, but sort of there for those who need to know, we'll share them. This just to give a flavor. To make a point of bronchiectasis as an example, 16,500 cases, we have found that, there's a laser here, excellent. Half of those, 50%, are self-reported only. There's no medical code in the secondary care data to confirm this. We suspect that once the primary care data are there, a lot of the self-reported ones will be confirmable in the primary care through medical codes. But at the moment, it's like you wouldn't invite probably self-reported for trial. You might do surveys, you might do studies, but there might be limitations to what you have. Other than the primary care data, we're also still to use the genotyping data for rare disease that will be particularly relevant because you can ascertain cases other than through medical codes. And very briefly, cohort size is not everything we're looking at for rare disease. It's just not enough. Like if you have 400 people, is that good enough for a trial? Well, a trial needs to know a few more basic things at least on the phenotype, on the follow-up window, and what you have. But when you do comparisons between two different cohorts that we have here, bronchiectasis and childhood cancer, we know that recontactability is excellent with Our Future Health, because if we have found those people and we can describe them to some degree, we can recontact them. That's not a given for all the UK national health data resources. Enough people with the disease does not really mean that are a good fit for recontacting. So in addition to basic appraisals, we're now looking at really rare disease specific categorization for what do people want to know about the rare disease cohort. And I do not have the time to go through all these, but there's a number of rare disease specific bullet points here: diversity, what's visible in GP data, disease severity. All these things we'll be working on summarizing in generic and general ways to give you a very high level view. We currently have limitations. Our Future Health was not fully designed for rare disease, or it was anticipated. Pediatric onset, we only have adults in Our Future Health at this time. the profiling of the rare disease cohorts is more than counts, and we are not recruiting. I will summarize all this very quickly and more quickly than anticipated. We're trying to make that into benefit. So even if we don't have everything, at least we can give people the information of what there is. So if you have a question, rare disease, we can tell you what there is for it, what there isn't for it, and what you have to play with, as it were, for science and translation. And what's coming is really deeper dives on a few given rare diseases. And I want to focus in the last minute really on what we still need is guidance on shaping. We have rare disease scientists we're working with. We have trial clinicians we can ask. We also probably would want to hear from patients what might they want to know about the cohort they're a part of potentially. But we need feedback on what else is really for a high level viability of a rare disease cohort. What do you want? We're already asking the question, but we're very grateful if you have further input on that. And that, thank you very much to all the participants of Our Future Health. Couldn't do a thing if people hadn't signed up to it. I'm somewhere over here. And thank you to the team who've actually done the work led by Huayu Zhang in Health Data Sciences and everyone else. Please email me directly if you like with feedback, positive and negative, and check out our health data strategy. Quick flavor of that. We'll share information with whoever wants it most, and we can justify it, and we'll otherwise share with our partners and internal scientists. Thank you very much.